this is an obvious practiced move. They've done this a lot.
Yeah, they're all like primping and preening like they're in front of the king.
Yeah. And Adie, she doesn't waste a minute. She fucking kills all of those guys too. She goes, I sweeped them from left to right. Done. All of them. And she tells the commander, look, armor doesn't work against a sorceress, okay? Or a baneling, dude. So either way, your whole coming here after me was totally in vain. You just can't.
Yeah, if you're trying to go against somebody in the village, you'd be fine. But you came against me, and you should have known that wasn't going to fucking help anybody.
And I have to imagine that she has this man's full attention. All of his buddies just died. Every single one of them. Which has to be shocking enough. And so you know that all she has to do is think grape, and you pop.
Wow.
Yeah, but...
Okay, yeah.
But you have to be scared shitless because she could totally do that.
Yeah.
So he's listening. She tells the commander that she left him alive so he could give the king a message. And also that she left Mathrin alive so he could receive one from her.
Right.
She's not done with him yet. That's the guy who held Pell and who killed Pell.
Yes.
So there is a whole extra level of hell for him, for Pell. Hell.
Hell, Pell. Fuck that guy. And the commander just has to go tell the king, like, don't fuck with me again.
Yeah, I'm out.
Bad idea.
We're good.
Yeah.
Would you consider that a declaration of independence?
Yeah, I mean, I would think in a way.
So Adie is American as fuck, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Good old Iron Adie.
With her iron voice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it.
All coming full circle. So Grandma, after this, officially kicks Adie out. She's like, hey, that was too much. Get the fuck out. You need to go. She goes, she takes Mathrin with her, using her magic to bind this dude to her, and saying, you gotta visit me once a month so I can hack some pieces off you.
Fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Zed said he had seen a beggar with that name in Kelton at one point, and he had both his eyes gouged out, he was missing fingers, he looked real bad.
He's real rough.
And Addie's like, yeah, I'm sure you did.
What shocks me is that Zed remembered that guy. He's like, oh, fuck, you're talking about that guy? Oh, yeah, you've been fucking him up for a long time. He looks really bad.
Yeah, it's stuck in his head. That's how bad the guy looked.
That's how bad it was. He remembered that guy. Oh.
So eventually, she cuts the bond to him because she realizes that this is going on for a really long fucking time.
Yeah.
And she needs to, at some point, just be done. And she wanted to see if he would just leave. And he didn't. He came back.
I don't think it's a Stockholm Syndrome thing going on.
No. She decides it's time for him to die, but first she's going to torture him to figure out why he keeps coming back, because it is not a Stockholm Syndrome thing. It's weird.
It's very weird.
You would not keep returning to your torturer unless you had an ulterior motive, so what the fuck is it?
Yeah, well, and it's got to be something that's worth it, too. I can't think of anything off the top of my head what would be worth going back voluntarily to have something else cut off of you.
Yeah. Like, she explained that she had never told him he couldn't kill himself, so he could have killed himself to prevent this from going on at any point. That's what made her be so like, what if I just tell him not to come? Will
After
he come?
she cut the bond, though, right?
Even before that, he could have killed himself at any point, and that's why she thought it was so weird. Because the dude was just putting up with it when he didn't have to. So she finds out what he fears more than anything else. She gathers cages, baskets, and jars, and tries to get him to confess.
That's a handy little piece of information to have when you're fixing to torture somebody.
Yeah. Well, I think she tortured that out of him, too, but it was confusing. Maybe not confusing. I want to know what this was.
What was inside of them?
Yeah. She eventually lets him out, but refuses to tell him or us what it was.
Right. It just kind of remains a mystery as to what exactly he was afraid of. But I'm thinking it's something alive. Because, you let it out, whatever it is, isn't just going to, like, Maybe he was afraid of corn. She just dumped a bunch of corn on the table and went, see? Or no, it was something like a fucking scorpion, and she let it crawl around by him while he's all tied up or some shit like that, you know?
I agree. It's probably something alive, because she did say it was, like, warranted that he was afraid of these things. But she was like, it's a basket, a cage, and I'm just trying to think of something alive that could be in a basket.
You know, it could be like an evil thing from the Boundary, too.
Oh, that's true. Maybe a gripper.
Could be. Oh, dude, yeah, it could be a gripper. She could have it on a very thin string, like working his way across the room towards his foot, and then it's just a couple of inches away. But if he relaxes his foot, it can get it.
This might. Yeah, because we don't know if this is before the Boundary or what. We don't know when exactly she killed him.
No, not at this point.
Okay. Yeah. No. All right. Yeah. Could be all sorts of fucked up things. I was just curious. I wish I knew. Finally, Matherin told her the reason he came back was he's a baneling. He's been working for the Keeper all along.
Oh, he's playing the fucking long game, dude.
Like, annoyingly long game, though.
Ever since you were a baby, I have hated you, and I have planned your doom. Like, wow, thanks. What do you do on the weekends, ass?
Right, like, I feel like she's not the only gifted person in, like, a small radius. Like, her grandma was gifted, too. Why didn't you put that much effort into that bitch?
Yeah, it was a lot. I just wanted to put hate into your heart so that you would eventually turn evil and serve the Keeper. And I've been planning this since before you could walk.
But she believes him and that he succeeded in doing it. She believes she is a baneling at this fucking point.
You know, she killed all those people. She must feel guilty, even if it was totally justifiable to have killed all those people, even though multiple homicide is still a pretty big pill to swallow.
Yeah.
She's got to feel bad in some regard to taking all of that life. She's not a psychopath. Only a psychopath wouldn't feel bad about that, even if it was justified.
Totally agreed. Also, only a psychopath wouldn't need to take a break after talking about all that shit. So, I am going to take a break and get a refill. Also, the pineapple Trulies are really fucking good.
Yes, they are. I'm going to go get a refill of that too right now.
So we'll be back right after this. And we're back. So Zed comforted Adie and told her she's not a baneling for what she did. She was just reacting. She hadn't lost her soul to the Keeper. She had just fought back like you would. Like we were talking about. What else are you supposed to do?
Nothing. That's what you do. That is what you do.
Unless you want to die. So Zed forgives her for all of this. Like you should.
I guess I didn't know why Zed chose to forgive her. Like, she didn't really need forgiveness. He's telling her that she doesn't need to feel guilty about it, but it's not really his place to forgive her for doing it.
You know, actually, yeah, you're right. It's not his place at all.
It was weird. Like, you know, he's just explaining to her that he's not going to hold it against her. Like, I don't think that you did anything wrong, even though you did that, so you don't need to worry about judgment from me. I understand that, but forgiveness is not his to give.
No. He wasn't there, didn't have anything to do with him.
Yeah, but when it comes down to it, she doesn't need to be forgiven because she didn't do anything wrong, is the way that she really should be thinking about it.
Right.
They killed her husband for no reason because for a reason, for a shitty one. They didn't get their way. You know what I mean? What they did was horrible. And apparently they do it to many, many people. So they deserved what they got. She shouldn't be sorry.
Well, and to be fair, we don't know if they would have just left her alone after that either. They may have been blinding her and all that shit to make it a drawn-out punishment. But they may have ended up, like, doing some really other terrible things to her after.
Oh, absolutely.
So, after the Boundary came up, Adie had studied with some other different women, tried to learn as much as she could about this shit. She tells Zed a little bit about Skrin and how she figured out the past existed, because the Boundary was largely unknown, even to Zed, really to anybody at all. It was like a tea kettle that needed a vent, like to spout out some of that extra energy, so that's how she figured out she could stay in the past.
Yeah, well, magic is all about balance.
Yeah.
So that directly comes into play here. Yeah, you can't just seal it off. There's got to be a breather, at least.
And Zed didn't know about this because he was just using old magic and he didn't know anything about it, and he just like crossed his fingers and hoped it worked. Which, yeah, totally what you should be doing.
Yeah, it was a desperate move, you know. He didn't know how it was going to end up, so he just did what he had to.
I mean, it went surprisingly well for something that he just like, hope it works. Had he figured that the best place to hide from the Keeper was like right under his nose, like Mathrin had done to her whole life.
Motherfucker.
But that wasn't the only reason that she came to the Boundary. The other reason was she wanted to find a way to connect with Pell, because he died thinking she betrayed him. Somehow, I feel like he knew. Like, I know he felt betrayed, and it says that he felt betrayed, but like we said, there's no fucking way.
You know, like we were saying earlier, too, I feel like just looking at her eyes, he could have known, right? But she is not sure.
Right.
And so she wants that closure, which I totally understand. It makes perfect sense.
Yes.
That's why she wants to be close to the Boundary, because that is the world of the dead. That's where he is, essentially.
Now, when Richard and Kaylin and everybody walk through the pass or walk near there, they have those people who come near them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not actually them? Is that the case?
I kind of think so. I kind of think they're, I guess you could call them agents, you know, who are in the world of the dead, who want to just call you over and just get you in there, because that's what they do. That's their business.
But logically, she probably sees Pell on a regular basis when she goes near the Boundary.
Probably, yeah. That's probably one of the people they use to get her to try and just walk in.
So it's just like a fake thing, and that's probably, I don't know, that's gotta be difficult that you're trying to communicate with somebody that you see on a regular basis that's not actually them.
You mean extremely sad?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Like, I want to talk to you, but you're not you, so fuck off!
Yeah, and, you know, Richard, he's like swinging the sword of truth to get rid of those things. He's killing them, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not who they're representing. Happened with his mom, too.
Yeah, and with his dad, with everybody.
Yeah, so, like, just gut-wrenching.
But Zed tells her the Boundary is gone. It can't help her anymore. She may as well go with him, because this is stupid. Like, there's literally no Boundary here. You're sitting here for no reason. We could pack up your shit. Let's get going, lady. Still, he hasn't really made it clear to her that, like, I need your help. I feel like if he would have came in and been like, yo, Adie, here's the deal, okay? There's no Boundary. I don't really know why you're here, but I need your fucking help. Let's pack up some of your shit. Come hang out with me for a while.
Yeah. It would have made this chapter much, much shorter. Of course, I like how it's not they. I say that all the time, and I really need to stop saying that. It's not a they. Nobody decided in a group what happened here. It was one guy, Terry Goodkind. Sorry. I like how Terry included her whole story. It explains the white eyes, it explains the voice, it explains Adie as a whole. And I do enjoy that.
I like it too. I feel like Zed goes through all these different channels to get to this place where he's just like, hey, I need your help. What's your reason for staying? Okay, that's stupid. Let's go. That's all that needs to be said. But she tells him she's done more than he can understand. She is a Baneling, and that's just the end of it. She's a piece of shit. That's what she thinks in her head. That she's been working for the Keeper. And then Zed's like, oh yeah? Well, my wife died at the hands of a quad, and I hunted those motherfuckers down and did some pretty terrible stuff to them. Like, worse than you could even imagine, and we're not going to go into it.
I hate how they say, no, you don't even understand what I did, because my thing is worse. And nobody is going to, he doesn't go into it. Mm-mm. But he does say, the one thing that he does say is that for every one guy you killed, I killed 1,000.
Yeah, which is really crazy to think about.
Like the number, or Zed doing that?
I mean, both, I think. Like, I don't know, just like imagining him cutting down thousands of people at once. Or maybe not even at once. Like, even, like, that's a lot of fucking people, I guess is my point.
Yeah. Well, Zed kind of serves as the moral guidance